Hey everyone, welcome to Mantis Dry Fire Monday. I got an interesting thing for us to talk about today. My friends at Wilderness Tactical loaned me this guy, which is kind of a prototype. This is not a production unit, but it's a prototype of a fanny pack. Fanny packs are coming back these days. It's the 80s again, kids. And I had an interesting incident the other day that made me think about having an option like this to carry while I'm, for instance, out on my walk or in workout clothes. And so, of course, one of the problems with this is, can I get a shot off fast enough? So I want to talk to you about what these require for an off-body carry, something like this, and how we can use that in an effective way, and if we can, get a fast enough draw to first shot.
The new Mantis X10 firearms performance system has all the goodness of the original, plus holster draw analysis and recoil analysis. It's a fantastic upgrade, and I recommend it highly.
So this will be some interesting stuff. I actually haven't worked a whole lot with this, but we hear about off-body carry all the time. You hear especially ladies talk about carrying in a purse. Okay, fine, I'm going to talk about this. This is kind of a version of that, though of course I'm not going to hang this from my shoulder like this and walk around. Could do that, you know, if I'm walking into the gym or whatever, but of course a fanny pack is built to be carried here or sometimes back around the back. But a couple problems with off-body carry, and I want to talk to you about them real quick. First of all, in off-body carry, you can't set this down. It's got a gun in it, right? So unless you completely lock it up, you can't set it down, because if a child gets a hold of it, an unauthorized user, you got problems, and you don't want to keep it locked up in here, because if you keep it locked up, you'll never be able to get to it in a defensive encounter in time. Second problem that we see with off-body carry, it is slow. It is so slow to get the gun in the fight. Let's talk about the standards of concealed carry again. From whatever position that I have the gun in, on a stimulus. Now that stimulus can be auditory. In a gunfight, it's almost never going to be auditory. It's going to be visual, but we use auditory stimulus all the time in training. So we say that the national standard of a concealed carrier, a CCWer, is getting a draw on target and a shot off in under 2.0 seconds from the auditory stimulus. The professional standard, the standard for somebody who carries a gun for a living, 1.5 seconds, and the black belt standard, 1.0 seconds. And we've talked about why that is and where those come from, and doing counter ambushes in, say, an armed robbery. And so one of the things that's worrisome about this is that they're slow. I have tried an awful lot of purses and bags and stuff like that, and getting a gun out and on target under stress is very, very difficult to do under that 2.0 seconds. So I tell you what I'm going to do today. I'm going to use this on camera. I actually haven't worked with it at all. This particular one has a spot here in the front for, say, a first aid kit. And then on the inside right now, I am running what I'm not a huge fan of, which is a soft loop trigger guard, okay? So it's stout when it's over the trigger guard. It's going to keep the trigger from being able to be accessed. But what I'm going to recommend they do for sure is they're using this Velcro on the backer. Kind of hard to see because it's black, but a Velcro backer. So I'm going to encourage them to put a piece of Velcro in there with it so that you can attach that to your favorite holster and then put that in here inside of a Kydex holster, so then that way the trigger guard is completely covered. But what you want to do here is you've got to put this in a way that you can get your hand in here and get the gun out. Now this one here is built for right-handers. It's built for there to be more access from the right side. I'm a southpaw, so I'm going to have to come in off this side. Then I'm going to encourage them to open this side up as well so it can drop out. So the biggest problem that I see is the ability to get it open enough to get a hand on the gun and get a firing grip on the gun to get the gun out and a shot on target. So let's compare a little bit and see what my normal appendix carry looks like in terms of a draw to first shot, and then we will look at what I can do with this guy and see again the impetus for this. Just so you know, you might have seen on our Facebook page, if you have liked us on Facebook, that I had an incident where I was kind of a first responder after one dog attacked another dog and actually murdered that dog, where my neighbor came up and said, "Sir, can you help me? Can you help me? Can you help me?" And I needed to help her in the aftermath of that to inform the neighbor whose dog had been killed, and then that poor dog was still kind of alive, as a little chihuahua, barely whimpering. I had to kind of get a towel around him and those things, which I think that turned out as well as it could have, but it got me thinking that if I was out and about, and I don't normally carry my ankle kit, first aid kit when I am out there, I wouldn't have used my first aid kit on a dog, quite frankly. But if that was a person instead that had gotten attacked by that dog, I was kind of caught with my pants down and I didn't have my first aid supplies. Out for my walk, I could carry something like this, and then it would allow me to maybe carry a larger firearm as well, which isn't a bad thing necessarily. I'm not out running right now. I'm still walking because my knees. But, it might be a good solution to somebody when you are at the gym, you're lifting, those kinds of things, you're not bouncing it around all over the place. Might be a good solution. So let's look at the difference in draw. So this right here is what the holster draw analysis on the new Mantis X10 is absolutely custom built for. So I'm I'm going to use this, and I'm going to use that. I've got right here, I've got my Mantis X10 on my P30. So everything is set for my P30 right now, which is great. So let's just do a few draws to first shot in my normal everyday carry kind of mode. I'm not going to go crazy fast here. I'm not going for Ricky Bobby, but I should be around a second is my standard right now. I'm not telling you what your standard should be. I'm just telling you what mine is so we can get kind of a feel. So I'm normally around a second. Let's see what we got here. Okay, firearm should be holstered.
Stand by.
Got a good dot there, saw everything that I needed to see, and it said a .95. I'll take a picture later so you can see it. I can't record and use the Mantis.
Stand by.
Ooh, great dot there. Felt really good about that. That was a 101. A little slower than I want to be, actually, about a tenth slower. Let's see if I can get loose.
Stand by.
Oh yeah, great shot, good dot. And that was showing a 109. That was actually showing really slow. I don't know what the challenge is there. It's a .3, okay, so whatever. Not bad.
Stand by.
Yes, saw what I needed to see there. And I don't know that it got that one actually. I don't think it did, in fact. Maybe it was too fast. Whoa.
Stand by.
Not the best grip I've ever had on the gun. That was a 9.6. Seeing my dot, life's good.
Stand by.
Yes, got what I needed. 111, really super slow. All right, so let's see what we got here. I'm gonna take a picture of that. So what we see here is I'm an average of .32 to the gun. I am .44 out from there, .27 in hesitation. So 102 average on 5 draws there. So I'll take that right around a second. That's about me right now in live fire as well. I'm down in the .9s when I really get after it, but I haven't really warmed up today. So here's where we are. So let's take that off. Let's put on the Fanny pack and see what we get. So it's not super tight, but it's set in the right spot and it sets it a little lower than my normal appendix carry position. I might actually adjust that just a little bit tighter when I start really playing with it, but let's kind of get a few draws and see what it looks like. Now, a couple things that you want here is you want to be able to open this really reliably, right? So I'm not a huge fan of the zippers actually. I'd kind of rather have Velcro here personally, but you want to obviously keep it closed. Now, I've staged it. You can see there's a little bit of space here. You can kind of see, it's kind of difficult to see because of the black on the black on the black, but I got a little bit of space between them. Now, if I'm walking around in public at Great America or something, or Disneyland, I'm not saying Disneyland's gonna let you in with a gun. I'm just saying I would probably close those down and just recognize that it's gonna take me a little bit more, and what I'm gonna have to do to open that is grab a hold of both of these and then yank. Okay, fine. If I can cheat it a little bit like I'll do on my walk in the morning, what I'm gonna do here is use this big old clip. It's got this big old clip on it, and I'm gonna use that to grab and press and get that gun open, and so I can get a full firing grip on the gun and get it out of the holster. Hopefully, let's see how it does. Let's do a few draws to first shot and see what we get. I don't know if I can get under 2 seconds on this, quite frankly. I haven't done any of these. Let's see what we do. Gotta get a hit. Holster the firearm. Okay. Gun's holstered. I'm gonna start with a hand on this one. No, I couldn't get it. Got it. Okay, that was 255 because I hung up on the outside there. Okay, let's see what I can get here. See if I can do a little better than that. So I think, here's the funny part, with that Mantis on there, it's harder because it adds length to the end, so maybe a shorter gun would be better. All right, gun's holstered.
Stand by.
Okay, got a good shot there. That was a 136. That was much better because it cleared the butt of the gun. Let's see if I can reset this up. All right, here we go. Gun's holstered. I'm gonna hold this again.
Stand by.
Okay, that was a 150. It's actually fairly impressive. Now, this little holster thing, again, I'm not super excited about. Got to be very cautious reholstering because I don't want to point the gun at myself. Now, a couple things to be worried about here, but let's get a couple more reps. So let's start with my hands down.
Stand by.
Got a shot, got my dot, and that was a 192. I was under 2 seconds, so I mean, that was, given what I had to do there, not too bad. I mean, slower for sure, but under 2 seconds, okay. All right, let's try it again.
Stand by.
Okay, got that. That was a 167, so let's take a look here. Let's put this gun back in that holster. Now I'm gonna take a picture of that so you can see it. Okay, so we had an average of 180, but again, that first one at 255 is a little bit long, but after that, 136, 150, 192, because it hung up 167. Now, if you notice, we had some that were relatively fast. The last couple that I had a little bit more time to the holster, to the grip, is because I didn't have my hand on the gun. Cost me a couple of tenths. But overall, guys, that's not too bad. I think this is the first kind of off-body-ish carry that I've been able to get consistently under 2 seconds. And I bet you if I work with it, I can get it down from there. Now, a couple things if you're going to work off-body like this. Now, if you were going to say, for instance, be somebody who's carrying a purse, then you'd want it probably cross-body here. And one thing that you probably saw me doing here that I worry about people not doing, so I want to show you what I'm doing with that, is I am clearing this and pressing this out while I get a full firing grip. But hopefully what you saw was me clear this hand out of the way before the gun comes back, because I don't want to have this hand down here and draw the gun out and flag my hand with my hand still down there. I'm not even going to do that here for you in dry fire. So I want to be very cautious that I go down together, up together, clear together, drive together. So I don't want to point a gun at my hand at any time, even here in dry fire, because I don't want to establish those habits. And I think I did that pretty well. So here's the thing, if you're going to carry off body, I want you to, number one, test it against a clock. You can use a Mantis X. You could use a timer, a regular timer if you wanted to, even a stopwatch, you know, a friend watching you or whatever, to then say, okay, am I fast enough? And I really think that 2.0, 1.5, 1.0 is there. I think if I get good with this, I'm probably in the 1.3 or something like that. I don't know that I'm going to get a 1 second. If I tighten this up a little bit, keep it a little tighter, I might be able to. I'll practice with it a little bit and see what happens. I really like this in an overall sense. So if you're carrying off body, hopefully this helps you to recognize what you got to be able to do, how to maybe game some problems and see what that is, and still get that gun out and on target. Now, all that said, here's this in this fanny pack, and I'm averaging, a grand total of 1.8. You take that one bad one out, I'm probably averaging in the 1.5 range, and I'm sub 1 second or right at a second carrying Appendix on my person, but I've practiced thousands and thousands and thousands of reps with that, but that still means I'm so much better with the gun on body. I'm much faster, and when I'm faster, I have more options. Time buys me options. So I'd rather carry on body, but for my walk tomorrow, I'm going to try this. Maybe it's worth it for something for you as well. Get out there and do some dry fire this week.